Okay, welcome to this tutorial. Today we're just setting up for the Rubik's Cube challenge. So you've got to build a Rubik's Cube and pose it and do the three-point light system. But there are a few things we do need to know. Beveling, we've not done beveling, and I did want to review how to paint faces. So how you would apply material to specific faces of an object so that your Rubik's Cube looks good. So right now we're sitting here in Blender. We've got our default cube, which is the perfect starter for the Rubik's Cube. We have we're going to be making a 3x3 grid, and then there's three of those 3x3 grids that are used to sort of form a Rubik's Cube. Each one consists of 9 cubes, right? So let's make a cube. Here we're in object mode. Let me go ahead and turn on my shortcut viewer so you guys can see what keys that I am hitting. So down in the lower left, you guys will see my keys here. So we're in object mode right here. We want to go into edit mode. So I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode. You can also switch to edit mode up here, but we need to be in tab. And the reason is because we want to use bevel. And you can click bevel here and use the handle. So if we tug up, it starts to bevel those edges. And that's the exact look somewhere in that neighborhood for the Rubik's Cube. And you can click off of that, and you have a beveled cube. So you're practically ready to start building your Rubik's Cube. But we want colors. Rubik's Cubes generally have 6 colors plus black, so 7 total colors. The 6 other colors go on the 6 sides of the cube, and the black is used for the edges, okay? And then the insides and outsides of some of the cubes as well. But let's go ahead and paint. So to paint, we actually can go back into object mode. So you can come up here and click edit, go into object mode. We are going to, because we are done with the modeling piece, we're going to go from solid view, which is this guy up here, into material view, because we're going to start applying materials. Okay, another way to go into material view is if you just hit Z, you get what's called a pie menu. And you can see wireframe, rendered, solid, and material preview are there. So we can click it here. So as you can see here, I'm going to go down to my tool panel and click on my materials properties. And you can see a material has automatically been applied to the cube. If there's not a material, it'll look like this. And you can just click new to put a new material in. It'll create a slot and a default material. Now, the default material, we're going to want to make it black. So I'm going to come down to base color. Make sure you're on base color. If you're on subsurface color, it's not going to show up. So base color, we click here. We click on the tint or the hue bar, black. And you can see here that our cube is black. Now, you might be wondering, why did I choose black to start with? Well, because each of these, I'm going to go into edit mode real quick and go into face select mode so you can highlight, we can highlight some of these. This guy right here is we want that to be black, that to be black, that to be black. So there's a lot of these little faces as a result of the beveling we did, and we want all of those to be black, okay? I'm going to click my select tool up here to get off of bevel. So now what we need to do is we need to take these faces and paint these faces different colors, okay? So again, I am in edit mode. It's important to be in edit mode at this point and to have face select. So that's 3 on your numbers above your keyboard. So if you hit 1, you're in vertex mode, and if you hit 2, you're in edge mode, and 3 gives you face mode. And we want to be in face mode because we're selecting faces here. So back over here in our materials properties, we're going to create some new materials. I'm going to go ahead and just label that one black, and I'm going to start creating some new materials here. So I'm going to click the plus button to create a new slot, and then click new to create a default. We need 6 colors. So I'm going to put in blue, come down to base color, choose a blue, and click back up inside the box, and you can see after a quick second it previews that material. So plus, new, change the name of the color, we'll make red, we'll go to base color, we choose red, we click in here, wait a second, and it previews. So we're going to keep repeating this for each of the colors. Oops. So we'll go with a yellow. We'll add a new slot, add a new color. We need a green. We're going to choose green. We're going to go back in, click new material, change it to orange. We're going to go down to base color, select orange. Okay, and we have one more white. We need white, so we're going to click plus. We're going to click new. We're going to click the name. And we can just leave the color because it is white. Okay, so now that we've got all of these, I like to think of each of these as like each slot here is like a slot in a crayon box. And then once you've created the material, like black, blue, red, it's like adding crayons to the box. Now we can use these crayons on these different faces over here. So if we want this face right here to be blue, notice when we click on a face, it takes us back to black because that's the face that's currently linked to that face. We want to change that. So we select the face we want, we then select the color. So select the face is step 1, color is step 2, and clicking assign, okay, is step 3. So, and we can see because we're in material preview, we can see what that looks like. So we can apply a different color to each of our sides here. Should have one missing. All right, and so we've got the building blocks necessary for our Rubik's Cube. And you're going to want to use Shift. Once you have all of your colors on, you can use Shift D to quickly start assembling your Rubik's Cube. So for instance, if I go back into object mode, either using the drop down or I can tab back and forth. I want to be in object mode. I can hit Shift D, constrain that to the Z value, and just lift that up and put that on the top, and then Shift D again. And we can see what's happening here. We can then Shift D, or Shift A, excuse me, to select all of these, and then Shift D in the Y-axis to build out my cube. So 3-point lighting system, don't forget, you do need a 3-point lighting system. You guys can duplicate this light. We typically turn it into a sun and diminish, reduce the power between 5 and 10 is usually good, and aim that here. We really don't see a lot of difference when we're in the material preview, but when you go to render, you'll see there's no light on the back of these, and so they're kind of shaded. So you want to use your 3-point lighting system. Okay, those are the basics, building blocks, if you will, for the Rubik's Cube Challenge. Go forth and create a Rubik's Cube Challenge. You're looking at creating an entire Rubik's Cube, posing it, using a 3-point light system, and rendering that image. So reach out to your instructor if you've got any questions, and I will see you in the next tutorial.